Hi everyone, my name is Michael White, and let me just get this started here. I'm going to be doing my presentation on the family meal and if it's dead. A lot of the times I've noticed between friends and family that that evening meal that everyone has where they sit around the table really gets taken away. One thing that I grew up with was a very family-centered household. Breakfast and dinner were always sat together, even on weekends, unless someone was away. On weekdays, it was very important to always be sat at the table. Phones were away. We would unplug the house phone. It was very old fashioned. One of the things that I noticed is that the demographic really for this is influenced by the culture. In Europe, a lot of the times in Spain, Portugal, Italy, they don't have a very family centered meal. This started in the early 90s, very similar to the United States. Um, Something that's changed in the past has really been the development of technology. The 70s and 80s really were focused, around not the computer. As the internet became a more prevalent thing in the 2000s, many families switched away from that. Another thing that really influences this is the daily schedule. Um, since the early 2000s, the 8 to 4 workday really isn't a thing anymore. And most students are really having a lot of activities after school, so they can't sit down with their family. Another thing that really changed was in the 90s, and even in the 80s, sitcoms really took advantage of the family time. They went into this whole situation where the dinner could be centered around watching TV. Nobody really had that communication aspect anymore. What this has really led to is a lack of connection. Everyone thinks that being connected through the internet is connection, and in reality, it's really not. Seeing a status update isn't the same as having someone tell you what they're feeling while they're at dinner, how their day was, what they're going through. Verbal and text are different. Some of the things that we're losing are the building blocks of a family and the ability to be in a positive environment. Really, one of the fundamental things for myself was growing up and having that connection that I only really got at dinner time. I didn't get that when I played video games. Some of the impacts is that it encourages convenience. When I grew older, I started not sitting at the table with my family. It became convenient to eat when I wanted to, and it really distracted from that. Phone calls and the idea of calling a family is another thing that was lost. Children also nowadays view the family dinner as punishment, and a lot of the times they'll have the conversation where it's just good. Everything is good. The day was good, no matter what they went through. And I think that's something that was really lost over time. Adults also are no excuse. There is an ease to eating alone. I talked about that a little earlier with the convenience. And there's really no need to catch up with others. Between texting, FaceTime, and a lot of the times working from home, people know how your day was. They don't need to ask at the end of the day like they used to. But getting the night back means spending time with family. It strengthens those bonds. It brings a positive environment that some people don't get during the day, be it at work, school, or out. They don't have that environment. And it steps away from technology. They're able to put it down for even 15 or 20 minutes. Spending time together doesn't also have to be as a dinner. It could be for breakfast. Many schedules are very similar. While that 8 to 4 is kind of gone, something that does stay around is that everyone starts their day around 7 or 8 a.m., depending on the person. But schools start at that time. One of the benefits of breakfast is you're starting the day on a positive note from a positive environment. You really get to have that energy that you see a lot of people have and most people envy. And breakfast is the most skipped meal. That's a completely other story, but it helps with that. It helps make everyone eat in the morning, and it encourages family health just by doing that. It increases the physical and mental health of every person in the family. It allows parents to monitor their students' daily goals to make sure that they're starting the day out right and not just on a rush. and it develops a need to get out of bed, something that a lot of people want to have in the morning. Being single doesn't mean that you can't have a family meal. Personally, right now, I live specifically with roommates, and we at least once a week try to sit down and eat together just to talk and have our connection. And people who live alone, that's something that's also you can do. Many Being with friends allows you to engage in weekly activities and it increases connections. So having those meals with friends is something that you're able to do. Um, it's a goal that I like to make, that once every other week I get to sit down and, really be with my friends. For my boyfriend, when he's away from school, a lot of the times we try to incorporate technology. Um, we use Skype or FaceTime to have meals, go on dates, things like that when he goes back to Chicago for work or whatnot. And it makes that effort for someone. It really shows that the person can be there. One of my challenges for everyone is not for just once a week, but not on weekends. Don't meet together with your friends or your family on a weekend because that's something that's easy to do. Do it during the week. And once you do it, journal. Talk about how you feel. Did it make you feel better? Did it help? Let me know. Here are a couple of the sources I used. I wanted to use one from the United States and one from Europe, just because there are some differences in demographics, like I mentioned earlier. I just want to say thank you for listening to my presentation and have a great rest of your day.